Perhaps the most interesting of all, Saquon Barkley, who ended up really not playing on the franchise tag, but a new one-year deal this past year. We know how contentious that got last offseason. Ultimately, the team did not wind up giving him the long-term deal, but they tried. I don't know that his value has increased to the point where that tag, again, worth about $12 million, will be something that the Giants explore. He's made clear that he wants to be with the Giants, but this one feels far away from me. I could see Barkley also entering into what feels like a saturated free agent market at the running back position.
Right, Jeff. He said he wanted to be a Giant for life, but Mike T, we know this is a very saturated running back market. Once again this year, if the Giants don't tag Barkley, where do you see him as a good fit?
Hannah, I think the Dallas Cowboys, let's assume that Dak Prescott works out a new deal and lowers that cap number, which is roughly $60 million. Tony Pollard was mildly disappointing being that full-time running back replacing Zeke Elliott. And if you're a team and saying we could use Saquon Barkley to improve us and simultaneously hurt a division opponent like the Giants, I think he'd be an ideal fit in that offense because he's so dynamic in space, so good out of the backfield. And wow, with CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, and Saquon, I think that gives Dak Prescott and this high-flying offense even one more weapon. So I understand why the Giants wouldn't franchise Saquon, but as soon as free agency begins, they have to understand that there's a likely chance that he's not coming back, including going to a division rival.
Well, I think a great fit for Saquon Barkley would actually be the Houston Texans, a different team in Texas, not the Dallas Cowboys. Why do I say that? You have C.J. Stroud, the offensive rookie of the year, as your quarterback, obviously an ascending team. And to go alongside that, Nico Collins and Tank Dell. Nico Collins went for over 1,000 yards. But what was the missing link on this Bobby Slowick offensive coordinator coach team? It was the running game. The running game was 29th in yards per attempt. So what do? You add in a Saquon Barkley to that dynamic running game. All of a sudden, you have a top-level quarterback, top-level running back, and dominant wide receivers who are also ascending. I think Saquon to Houston could be great. Now, also another conversation could be the Baltimore Ravens. Todd Monken, that's a team that loves to run the ball, one of the best in the NFL. I think those two teams are two teams I see potential for Saquon to land.
And Nacho, by the way, here's the thing we have to talk about here, though. It's the value. And you guys are making great points about the needs. But the value of Saquon Barkley is incredibly important, as we've talked about. This is a market that's going to be a lot of running backs. Take a look at this list right here. We've got Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, Austin Eckler, DeAndre Swift, some really good players that are notable free agents. This was something that GMs had told me about before this season had started. Part of the problem with the running back market last year, when it came to these tags and trying to get long-term deals done, was that they knew that all of these players would be available this year. So Saquon Barkley makes sense for a lot of those teams unless he asks for too much money and those teams say, forget that, we'll go get Derrick Henry, we'll go get Tony Pollard. So the question becomes, which running back is going to set the market here and which running back is going to try to go to the team that will best set them up for success?